Hello, in this video we are going to discuss t-tests. This is a relatively common and somewhat simple statistic. You compare the difference between mean scores, mean values, average values. In general, there are three different types. The first one is a one-sample t-test where you look at the difference between your sample and a pre-established value or perhaps even a hypothetical value that you think something will be. In this case, we have two examples here. A company standard, let's say, is 100 units. At one of the locations, they perform at 104 units, and we see if this is a statistically significant difference to see maybe if this location is doing something right here, or if it's just relatively, it's just not a significant difference, even though it's a little bit higher. Servant leadership, if we're looking at let's say an assessment like that, and the desired value of our management team is at 20, we want to see if they're servant leaders. And so we collect data on our team, and the sample is 17.7. We look to see if there's a statistically significant difference, because if not, then maybe we don't spend the revenue or the money on training. But if that is significantly lower, then perhaps we need to do some servant leadership training. Another type of t-test is a paired sample t-test. In this particular example, what we are looking for is, for example, maybe a pre-post test. So in this case, we have a training program, and before training, our team is manufacturing or selling at a volume of 240 units. After the training is over, we measure again, they're at 265 units. We want to see if this is actually a statistically significant difference and a significant increase in the amount of units. Using the example of servant leadership, we may not have a pre-post test, but here we have on the measure, we are going to look at authentic leadership and selfless leadership. These are two things being measured. We want to see if there's a significant difference between those two. Or in this case, influential and moral leadership. We want to see if there's a statistically significant difference between those two. Now, if you do an independent or unpaired samples t-test, we are going to look at the same data. However, we are going to compare two independent parts of that data. For example, if over let's say a 24-hour period, we have a whole bunch of performance data, we go ahead, take that data and separate it by first and second shift. We want to see if there's a significant difference between those two, because maybe we want to reward one of the shifts something extra, or we want to see maybe if they're doing something right, we want to see if that's actually a significant difference. Another example might be we go ahead and we look at our entire company, look at the levels of servant leadership, and then we divide that by the managers versus non-managers to see if there's a significant difference between those two values. There's a general definition and description of the various forms of t-tests, which are once again very valuable and somewhat simple statistics that you can do. Thank you.